Tonight, the NBA draft lottery happens. Let's see. Let's preview what could happen to your San Antonio Spurs.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're in the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. And as always, I am glad to have y'all back. Hope you had a great weekend and happy belated Mother's Day to y'all's loved ones there, your moms and everything, or if you're a mom, unless you watch Locked On Spurs, happy Mother's Day to you. And yeah, we got a good show today because why? It's NBA Draft Lottery Eve. Yes, today is the day the Spurs find out if they're just going to stay at 8 and 14, crossing fingers to get a higher pick. We'll discuss all that and so much more. And also, we're going to be looking at the latest intel, our thoughts on what that intel says. What should the Spurs do with their picks? We got a lot to talk about today here on Locked On Spurs, which is brought to you by Monarch Money. Yeah, you want to go to Monarch Money right now because you can take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So, today's the day, right? Spurs will find out where they're drafting in the 2025 NBA draft. They got 2 picks. They all know their own, and one via the DeJounte Murray Hawks deal. So that gets cashed in tonight. Yeah, we'll see what the Spurs will do. There's so much that could happen. Is this player, are they going to help in the rebuild, get us out of that quicker? Or maybe the Spurs should flip it and just say, you know what? Yeah, we're good. We like the team we have. We're going to move forward. Hey, let's open up for business. Who wants these picks? There's so many things that can happen. Let's preview tonight's NBA Draft Lottery with Rudy Campos. He is back, everybody. Join us on a Monday. By the way, Rudy, you can follow him on X at Sweep the League and go to his show, Sweep the League on YouTube. Rudy, welcome back and happy Mother's Day to your wife.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms in your life as well, man. It was a great one. It was definitely a great one.
Yeah, I ended up taking my mom to kind of an early dinner, and then she has this favorite place, San Antonio. She loves it. You get the prior away from it, right? So that she wants to go walk around the neighborhood, and she saw a churro stand. So let's just say she got an extra treat there. She got a big old bag of churros that she just went to town on there. Rudy, I got to admit, I did cave in, though. I had one myself, man.
Sometimes you have to, man. You got to give in sometimes. Lately, I've been giving in a little bit more, gained a couple of pounds, but tomorrow's a new day, so I'm going to start actually.
All right. Again, everybody, follow him on X at Sweep the League. Rudy, it's a big night tonight. Spurs Draft Lottery. It's here, 2025. So much could happen. Let's try to take a breath here and kind of go step by step. So, Rudy, and everybody watching and listening right now, we know likely the odds that the Spurs will land at 8 and 14.
Yeah.
With 8 and 14, Rudy, they could definitely find some contributors. Dare we say impact players, or at 8-14, where they more likely will land, is that more of a contributor player?
Well, 8 and 14 kind of presents a predicament for the Spurs because I think you can definitely come away with some great players. And the good thing about this draft is when they're picking at 8, there's going to be a good amount of shooters available for them. And we know that's a big key for the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, yeah.
Is they need to get a shooter. You're going to have 3 right off the bat. Trey Johnson out of Texas, Con Knipple is another one out of Duke. Also, don't forget Kasparas Jakashonis out of Illinois. He's a shooter as well. So there's 3 guys right there in that top 8 that, unless Ace Bailey falls all the way to 8, which
likely
he's been falling in some drafts, and I can understand why. But we'll get into that a little bit here. But yeah, I think shooting is a must. So at 8 there, at 14, it's going to get kind of interesting because it could be that Rob Dillingham type thing where they trade out of it, maybe get something later for him. But if they do stick at number 14, there's a lot of great guys you can get there that can come in, kind of contribute right away. Not going to be, the all-star caliber players you can get in a draft right away, but could eventually turn into a couple.
Yeah.
Maybe even a French, Frenchman might even be another person at 14 to look at, as I got a couple of guys you can look at as well too in a little bit.
Yeah. Is it just me, Rudy, or is this, draft lottery kind of starting to become very not so hyped. You remember how it was so hyped? 2025, that's the magical year. That's, oh my goodness, if you're sitting at number 14 or 12, you're going to get yourself a power player. It feels like as we getting closer to tonight's draft lottery, that's kind of cooled a little bit, hasn't it?
A little bit more. I think a lot more people are realizing that you're going to get stars in this draft, which is kind of what we've been saying. You got your few superstars. I don't know if anybody's generational in this draft. As you hear about Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper, those guys are going to be, stars, all stars, potentially superstars, depending on where they go. But in the draft overall, this is a draft where you're going to get impact players. Now, may not be the first 20 games, may not be the first year, but these are the guys that are going to start really making an impact in the league. As the older guys start to get out of the NBA, you're going to start to see a lot of these guys emerge. It's a very, very deep draft where you get at, 8, 9, 10, you're going to get the same kind of value around 17, 18, 19. So it really is not a really bad draft to be in right now. A lot of great players available. So 2 picks for the Spurs could do wonders for them.
All right, let's check out the latest intel via ESPN now. Again, in a recent article, they were just kind of looking at the top 15, teams with their picks, and the premise is if they keep their pick. More on that later. All right, so that's the whole point of the article. Let's see what the latest intel has to say. Start with the first one. What will the Spurs do if they keep number 14? And according to ESPN, bring it up here. There we go. Sorry, let's start off with number 8. My bad. Excuse me. Yes. So at number 8, they're going to go with the guy that you just mentioned right now. Kasparis out of Illinois, point guard, shooting guard. As you can see on your screen, everybody, the Spurs, this according to ESPN, need some more backcourt help. They're not disparaging Castle or Fox, so you can see on your screen right now. But according to ESPN, Kasparis is going to provide that perimeter shooting that this team desperately needs. According to a quick scouting report you can see on your screen, everybody, he plays unselfish. He can play both guard spots. And basically just feels like this is a player that can fit in quite well with the Spurs and is an investment for the long run. I don't like that phrase right there, Rudy. I don't think the Spurs can afford developmental players right now. They got to get this going. But if the Spurs order Kasparis at number 8, how are we feeling about that pick?
Not a bad pick at all for if they're going to go with the Kasparis Jakushonis out of Illinois. This guy's kind of been, teetering right about the bottom lottery as far as maybe 5 or 6 in this draft right now. I really think that what ESPN has right now on their latest rankings, I think he's going to go a lot quicker than most people think. I don't think he'll be there at 8. Looking at maybe teams like Philadelphia, they're going to obviously need a point guard, to go there. He also has the Brooklyn Nets are going to be drafting, I believe, at 6. So if he happens to fall to them, you're getting a guy that can definitely run the point guard. I know you have De'Aaron Fox, but a good backup to De'Aaron Fox. It's not going to ever slow down, has a really big motor. I mean, really good playmaker, Jeff. He can shoot the ball. The pick and roll game for him is unbelievably good. You're going to see a lot of great pick and roll between him and Victor Wembanyama. Also, the guard pick and roll. I mean, you can use him with Harrison Barnes. You can use him with Stephon Castle rolling off there. The only problem is that he's very turnover prone. And some fans can say, if you really look at him, we had a turnover prone guy come into the league, happened to be a 2nd round pick a long time ago in Manu Ginobili. He plays with the same kind of motor as Manu, definitely not as crafty as Manu, but same type of motor. The biggest thing is his defense. That's the defense, that part that he's really lacking on. But overall, a good playmaker, fits the Spurs system. I just don't think he'll be there at 8, though.
Yeah. And if he's not there at 8 and obviously the Spurs can't select him, I'm okay with that. Not because I don't think he could be a good player. My opinion is that I don't think he's what the Spurs need right now. You mentioned pick and roll a lot. They already got that with Fox and Castle. Who knows what's going to happen to CP3, but if for some reason CP3 wants to take a bench role, and then you got a third, pick and roll guy. I think Kasparis, as good as he may fit with the Spurs, with that shooting you mentioned, but I feel there's more cons than pros right now. I mentioned one of them, an abundance of pick and roll guys with Victor and whoever else they want to throw in there. They got perimeter shooting with Fox. I know they need more, but he's taking care of that. But again, I just feel that Kasparis might be just too much at that position. You already got a combo guard. You got plenty of combo guards right now with Tassel and Fox. It just feels like the adding him will either push him to the G League or bury him deep in the bench. And number 8, I think they can do better. And we'll get to more of that in a while. But what will the Spurs do if they keep number 14? We'll look at what the latest intel has to say via ESPN in just a few minutes with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Make sure to follow him on X at Sweep the League. Go and do that right now. But first, I want to talk to you about DoorDash. NBA fans, you know what time it is. Playoff season means big performances and even bigger rewards. DoorDash is bringing you the heat with a slam dunk deal for Dash Pass members during the 2025 NBA playoffs. It's called They Swoosh, You Score. Anytime a player drops 50 or more points in a playoff game, Dash Pass members score a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the very next day. Just place an order of $20 or more, use the code Wingstop50 at checkout, and that combo is yours. Crispy, delicious, and totally free. Offer valid noon to midnight the day after the game. Terms apply. Hey, look, what's your go-to move after an epic game? How about ordering wings, reliving the highlights? Imagine being rewarded with free food just because someone went off with 50. Yeah, you're going to love it. It is a great deal. Remember, that code is Wingstop50 at checkout. With Dash Pass, you get 0 delivery fees and exclusive perks like this one. How much would you save over a season? Here's a play. Sign up for Dash Pass to unlock this and more exclusive deals all season long. When the player scores 50 plus in a playoff game, Dash Pass members can grab a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the next day with a $20 or more order and code Wingstop50. That's Dash Pass, your door to more savings, more flavors, more ways to win. Terms apply.
Oh, hey, this is Morty Smith and Cheese. You are listening to Locked on Spurs with Jeff Garcia on Cheese.
And we're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on X. You see on your screen how to find it. If you're watching on YouTube, it's at Sweep the League. And we are previewing tonight NBA Draft Lottery. Spurs, by the numbers and the odds, can keep 8-14. More on that later. But let's go to continue our intel via ESPN. Now, here's what they feel the Spurs would do if they keep number 14. There we go. So if they stay at 14, ESPN is projecting Will Riley out of Illinois. Look at that, another Illinois guy looking at.
They're taking the backcourt.
Yeah. Shooting guard, small forward. You can see here on your screen, again, another shooter they feel that the Spurs need. But this time in the front court. So that's, I think there is a little bit better for me there. I'll get your thoughts in just a few seconds here, Rudy. But again, and this is more of a bigger guy shooter that the Spurs need. I think this is exactly what they need. They need that stretch 3-and-D guy, that stretch forward, a guy that can spread the floor. If Riley is there and they take him, I will be okay with that because he fits what the Spurs lack right now. Just a guy, a big man that can spread the floor. No knock on Harrison Barnes or Devin Vassell, but I like this pick. What about Will Riley?
Will Riley is one of those definition picks that we mentioned earlier where you're going to get really good value for Will Riley. Now, obviously, he's a shooter. When he's making his shot, it's going to spread the floor for everybody. I mean, it's going to make it tough to defend him. Talking about a 3-level scorer, he can shoot behind the arc. He can shoot the mid-range. He can get to the basket. So he checks all 3 offensive sides for the San Antonio Spurs on scoring-wise. His basketball IQ is very, very good. Mm-hmm. Great rebounder. He's a very vocal person as well in the locker room and in team huddles. So the thing on the defensive side of the ball, he's a good defensive player, but he needs to improve on that. And the only thing that I can say as for, his weaknesses, Jeff, again, turnovers are a big problem. You're going to see that a lot with rookies coming in. Physically, he's going to have to get bigger and stronger. He's going to be pushed around a lot in order to fight through screens. He's going to have to put on some weight. But not only that, his shot from deep, from 3-point range, it's got to be a little bit more consistent. But once he gets going, he's one of those streaky shooters. When he gets hot, he's hot. Comparison-wise, I mean, you're looking at the possibility of maybe a Franz Wagner, who you see out of Orlando. That's the high ceiling I have for him. You're looking maybe, I would say, the mid-range ceiling for him. Probably right around Trevor Ariza, maybe Gordon Hayward type of player. So a guy that can score, a guy that can shoot the ball, kind of do a little thing here and there. Will Riley is one of those value picks at 14 that I can kind of get back with right there. I can get behind on there.
Yeah, I'm definitely down with Will Riley if the Spurs go with him at 14. then thumbs up, good, solid pick. I think the mocks project him landing in that area. I don't think I really seen him move up or drop down dramatically. So he's kind of hovering right now around number 14. But nevertheless, though, again, we're kind of putting together what the latest intel via ESPN is showing that shooting seems to be the biggest Spurs need right now, which now begs the question, Rudy, what should the Spurs do with those picks? Now, they can draft shooters, as ESPN projects, that they might be targeting shooters, whether the guard position or the forward position. But should they look for that maybe via trade, via free agency? Because, again, they're in the rebuild right now. We're starting to see them coming out of it. It looks like it's getting shorter now. Why bring in a guy or guys that might need time to get going? Might need time to put on weight, as Riley. Might need time to learn defense, as you mentioned with the first guy on the ESPN list there. Rudy, what do you think about that? If they're going to address shooting, is this something they have to address in the draft? Should they go after free agency? What do you think?
Free agency, I don't know if there's going to be a lot of great shooters available in free agency this coming off season. Off the top of my head, you could see the possibility of maybe Duncan Robinson, maybe a Chris Middleton, who might become a free agent after being in Washington. Mm-hmm. So it's not a great group of guys out there that you would look into free agency. I think their biggest need in free agency is probably to try to get a big man or two in free agency, somebody that is more veteran that can kind of help Victor when he's out of the game for a while. Because it seems like they've got really good perimeter play and they got some perimeter veterans. They don't have a whole lot of veterans when it comes to the front court, guys behind Victor who can play next to Victor. So I think they concentrate on the big guys in the free agency and kind of go for broke when it comes to the lottery this year in the NBA draft.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I do believe the Spurs need is a big man, a quality big man, not just any bum, off the thing. I need a quality big man that can spread the floor. This begs the question, though, Rudy. The odds definitely point to the Spurs landing at 8-14. That's like more than likely what will happen. But we've seen the lottery gods smile on the Spurs before. They were not supposed to get the number one pick. Boston was supposed to get it, and lo and behold, back in the 90s, they got Tim Duncan. Same thing with Wemby. It was other teams that had more lottery odd chances, but they got Wemby. And so here we are again. If the lottery gods smile on San Antonio, and one of these picks, or maybe both these picks, but we'll know. We'll just, if a pick or picks launch to the top 5, because that could happen, especially with number 8. Now what? Does that change everything? Does that change your entire outlook on this roster moving forward, this rebuild? Because if they landed a top 5 spot, they can do some damage with that. They can either flip it, they can trade down for multiple picks, they could trade out and bring in an established star.
Yeah.
How valuable is that top 5 pick if they do vault into the top 5? What are your thoughts?
So you're talking top 5. Man, a lot of Spurs fans are going to be super duper happy to get into the top 5 with the type of quality players you have in the first 5 players you could draft. I'm going to be 100% real. Unless it's number 1, 2, or possibly 3, I would say trade down in the draft, because now at 4 or 5, you're looking at guys like Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma, VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor. These are guys that you're getting are your Stephon Castle, and these are guys you don't want to kind of be on the bench. These are guys you want to be on the court as much as possible. So a VJ Edgecombe out of Baylor would probably be really good for the Spurs, but again, I think you can get some really good value trading down, maybe getting a veteran big and somewhere else in that first round, maybe a late lottery pick. So I think they're top 3. You may want to stick with it, because then you're talking, the possibility of Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey, big guys with shooting that you can work with. If you're going to end up getting a Dylan Harper, Dylan Harper plays the role of De'Aaron Fox, so then you could maybe move that pick out and get, some massive packages in return. But if it's top 3, I hold on to it and possibly see who I can draft out of there. Top 5, 4 or 5, I'm probably trading down because I can get some really good value later on in this draft.
Yeah, I differ with you a little bit. If it's 1 or 2, I'm keeping it. If it's 3, 4, and 5, I'm considering flipping it to bring in players that can help win now, because I think this playoff play-in drought is enough already. 6 years already going on this? No more. That's it. We're done. Let's bring in some teams. Let's bring in some players, I should say, that know what it takes to win. Try to convince those other teams to make a deal with San Antonio and say, hey, look, I'm making this up. We got a number 4 pick. We got a number 3 pick. What do you want for, pick a player on the roster? Oh, you want more picks? Yeah, we got a number 14 waiting for us too. And we got a lot of second rounders. And of course we got some young players perhaps you might be interested in outside of Wemby and Castle and Fox. So yeah, I think you play with that. I think you bring in players that can help this team win now, because there's kind of a window opening for the Spurs in the West. Y'all know what's going on right now. You have, you don't know what's happening with New Orleans. The Clippers, if they blow it up after another disastrous playoff run, and what do they do? Dallas seems to be the wild card here. If Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, that all clicks, we'll see what happens. But there's kind of a window opening for the Spurs where they can push into the play-in or the playoffs. And I think you want to keep Wemby happy, you do that. So I'm with 3, 4, and 5. You flip or just bring in somebody who can help ASAP. Giannis, hey, Milwaukee, you don't pick until for 10 freaking years plus or something like that, because you're all busted out of picks. We got some. So that's my approach if the lottery got small on San Antonio and land them in the top 5. But yeah, if you're 1 and 2, yes, no doubt you get Flag and Harper. I mean, it's just duh. But there's so many things the Spurs can do with this pick. We'll definitely talk about it more tomorrow once we learn where the Spurs were picking. So yeah,
what are the possibilities of them getting both picks in the top 5 or top 4? I mean, if that happens, then what do you do? I mean,
that's rough, Rudy. Not rough in a good way, because now it's like the world's their oyster now. Now let's talk turkey now. Hey, Phoenix, how would y'all like to jumpstart your rebuild right now? What do you want? I don't know. You think they'll let go of Booker? You think Booker's worth 2 first round picks, top 5?
So you're going to get me in trouble for this.
Here we go.
I don't think, unless your name is Nikola Jokic and maybe another guy, nobody's worth 2 top 4 picks in the same draft. So I'll just completely say that. If they so happen to get in the top 4, which again, I doubt that happens. So we're just having fun here. But if they were to get 2 picks in that top 4, you definitely probably trade one of them to somebody and get an established veteran at any possible point. I mean, you've talked about guys like Kevin Durant, about Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mentioned last week.
Well, that's why I brought up Giannis right now. Do you think Giannis is worth 2 first round picks?
He's worth first round picks, but not in the same draft. I guess not 2 lottery picks this year. I don't think so, to me. But I mean, again, I mentioned Jaylen Brown out of Boston. I mean,
yeah, because Boston may blow it up, but it's all signs are pointing to that.
Yeah, Boston's gonna blow it up because they're gonna have Porzingis and Derek White and Al Horford are gonna be their free agents, I believe, coming up. So they're gonna basically blow it up if they can't get rid of one of their big contracts. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, 2 in the top 4, that's a lot. I think you definitely trade one and get an established star, and then you go out and get one of the top 4 picks. Yeah. I mean, you're on the path to greatness pretty quick there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I cannot wait for the NBA draft lottery tonight. We'll see what the Spurs are going to pick. Hopefully the lottery gods will smile on the Spurs once again. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. You want to do that ASAP. Yeah, when we get back, we're going to talk about, our draft board. Who we like to see the Spurs pick? If they, again, we'll just play the game. They'll say stick to 8 to 14. We'll see what's going to happen with those picks. With some names that we like. Other thoughts on tonight's big event. But first, I want to talk to you about Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining online, shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Money Monarch isn't just a budget app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you just stop managing all your money and you start building wealth. Look, you get surprising insights. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. Easy collaboration, managing money with your partner smoother than ever. You can track shared or personal accounts, set goals, stay on the same page without the stress, all in one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, even plan long-term goals. Right now, you want to take control of your finances with Money Monarch. Use code LOCKEDNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDNBA for half off your first year. Everyone in my house always has something going on. I call this busy season. I don't have a lot of free time to go grocery shopping or cook healthy meals at home. That's why I use Hungry Root. Hungry Root is like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist wrapped into one. They take care of grocery shopping, meal planning, offering personalized recommendations based on your taste and health goals. Look, they got high quality, nutritious food. You can stick to your gut-friendly, high-protein diet without spending hours of planning. They got meals that come together in 15 minutes or less, giving you more time for workouts, family, hobbies, and maybe even watching San Antonio Spurs. I love how Hungry Root tailors your orders based on what you like and don't like, and you get smarter every time. Take advantage of this exclusive deal. Get 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life. You want to go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, code LockedOnNBA for 40% off and a lifetime free item.
As the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
And we're back right here, Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos. We'll sweep the lead. Follow my next at Sweep the Lead. Do that right now. This just it with the pick is in. Rudy, Locked On Spurs selected Rudy Campos out of Texas. But you were the last pick we got. You're Mr. Irrelevant.
I'm Mr. Irrelevant.
Says Rudy. You okay with that?
I'm perfectly fine. I mean, there's only 60 guys that get drafted or whatever. So yeah, I'm definitely okay with that.
Was Doc Rivers the best ever Mr. Irrelevant? He was close, right? I think he was the last pick, some of that.
I can't remember if he was the last pick. I mean, Manu's the best value because he was second to last.
Yeah.
And of course, Joker was a second round pick. But I think Joker was mid-second. Yeah.
All right. Well, we kind of give you a quick preview of what could happen tonight. We know the odds are saying the Spurs will pick 8-14. We discussed that. We looked at some intel from ESPN. We gave our opinions on what the Spurs should do with those picks, and if basketball gods willing that they launch each of the top five. But now let's look at who could be in our draft order board should the Spurs, when it comes to draft night. So I'm looking at a mock draft right now via CBS Sports, and here's some of the names that are floated around the number 8 pick. All right, so we'll give 2 up and down each. Con Knipple. So I'm going to start off with that. Yeah. CBS Sports mock draft has Con going at number 6 to Brooklyn. But if he were to fall and he's there for the picking for San Antonio, he's my number 1 guy on my mock draft board. Con Knipple. He's exactly what the Spurs need. They need that deep shooter. They need that consistent shooter, that consistent outside threat. He's at the position they need him at. I think that really helps the Spurs in the rebuild, and I think he's an immediate contributor, and not just really important contributor. I think if he keeps going, he spreads that floor for Wemby, for Castle, for Fox to operate, and not to say he can't do some damage himself. I think Con Knipple, he's definitely number 1 on my mock draft board there. What about you?
So I was always back and forth with 2 guys, and Con Knipple is actually one of them. I mean, you just mentioned it. Just think of the Spurs getting, another version of Austin Reeves, who's like a modern day type of player for people to understand. Great leader, rebounding, basketball IQ through the roof, scoring versatility. He can score at every different level, can shoot the ball. He's an excellent shooter. He can go behind the arc, knock down that 3-point range. The only thing is you're going to hear a lot about it. All these players are going to have the same areas of improvement, same weaknesses. All can be on the defensive side. But again, you can always get better on defense. My biggest thing on him is the athleticism. He's good. He's athletically good. He's just not athletically gifted, if that makes any sense. He's got to actually work for everything he gets in the NBA. But again, probably my number 1 guy would probably be confident. But I've been back and forth between him and Trey Johnson out of Texas. But I think what Knipple gives you more than what Trey does is that versatility and getting to the basket, having very crafty ways of scoring the basketball. So I kind of give him the slight edge if they're both of those guys are there at number 8.
You know, I hope he has this ceiling, but no, he reminds me of Tom Chambers. Like Tom Chambers was not that gifted athletically, as you mentioned, but man, could he score? Could he find a way to score? Could he get into the paint? He could definitely hit the outside shot. So he reminds me of that kind of mold. Not saying duplicate, just that mold of a Tom Chambers. But yeah, definitely Colin Knipple's definitely on my board right now. All right, let's take a look at 14 now. According to the CBS Sports mock draft, I get your thoughts on this. The Spurs have picking Jace Richardson out of Michigan State. He is a shooting guard, averaged 12.1 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, 1.9 assists, 41% from the 3 line. What are your thoughts on Jace?
I like Jace Richardson. I don't know if he's gonna. I'm not a big fan of his. He reminds me a lot of. I don't know. This is gonna throw me back a long time ago for you kids out there. Reminds me a lot of a Catino Mobley type of player. He can score in buckets. He can do the good things right, but it's not going to be anything sexy. If you want a more modern, not modern, but a more updated guy, Rip Hamilton coming off screens can definitely score the basketball. So for me, Chase Richardson, I have him a lot lower on my draft board. For the Spurs, I think they're going to have to go big there if they end up keeping this pick. One guy, and I got 2 out there in the back of my head. One guy's Asa Newell out of
You got him off my board, man. That's who else I got. I got Asa Newell too. Yeah.
Asa Newell, man. I mean, you're talking about a kid. Now, remember, Spurs fans were so high on John Collins when he was available from Atlanta.
Yeah, I remember.
Very, very similar game to John Collins. Can jump out of the gym. A good scorer. I love the way he did. Scoring efficiency, rebounding, very athletic, pretty damn good basketball IQ. His defensive potential around the rim is really, really good. Obviously, he's not a great three-point shooter, which is not going to be the forte of his. Think of him, like I said, John Collins, type of player playing next to Victor Wembanyama. Yeah. That is a very, very big thing to go with here. But I've talked a lot about Hugo Gonzalez on Lockdown. I'm not going to talk about Hugo Gonzalez anymore. If he's going to be there, he's going to be there. And if they get him, I'm going to be a little giddy. But let me give you one other guy, the French connection, and it's going to be Noah Senge out of France. So you're talking about a 6'8" guy. I think he's only 18, if I'm not mistaken. I've got to go back on that here. But again, soft touch around the basket. I mean, he gets on the boards. He does a lot of great things that you want to see from a young guy. He's going to continue to get better. He's going to continue to grow. Defensive type of player, rebounding. His athleticism is really, really good. Great international experience. And this is a guy that you can kind of mold into that Spurs big man later on. I mean, not going to be a center per se, but he's going to be able to bang the boards and get on. Think about like this. Jonathan Isaac, the possibility to be maybe Scotty Barnes, who's an all-star player, as we see with Toronto, but also think of Nicholas Batum type of player, somebody that fits, exactly what the Spurs are looking for. So keep an eye on Noah Senge is another guy that I like at 14. Nolan Traore out of France as well as another guy, but I like the big man at 14 for them if they keep it. So those are the 2 guys that I'm going with.
Pretty much Rudy looked at my mock draft board, so I
haven't seen anything. It's not posted anywhere.
Yeah. But no, I definitely had Asa Newell as my pick at number 14. All the reasons because you brought it up. But I mean, look at some of his measurements here. 6'11", has measured at 220 pounds. That's a big boy right there. 15.4 points per game, 6.9 rebounds, 1 assist at Georgia last season. And defense. He's going to be an impactful defender for the Spurs if they go with him. And not a bad pairing. Wemby, Asa Newell. I think you wouldn't see too much of a drop off there. Should he give Wemby a breather there from time to time. Another guy I had on my pick on my draft board, and I would get your thoughts on this. I have a hard time pronouncing his name, so forgive me, anybody. There we go. Kaman Maluak. Is that how you pronounce it? Kaman Maluak. Center out of Duke. I think he would fit what the Spurs need. Again, he comes from a Duke program. a Duke team that didn't win the Final Four, but still that pedigree, that winning mentality. 8.6 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 3-point shooting not the greatest, 25%,
No.
but the Mocs, at least according to CBS, at the position of center, they rank him as number 1, probably the best center. Hit to the draft. Go to CBS where I know you have issues with that, but the only negative I have, I think he's a developmental guy. I think he's in any time to cook a bit.
Well, I see him being number 1, and I don't have a problem with him being the number 1 center prospect. It's between him and Derek Queen. I don't really know a lot about Derek Queen. Not when I say I don't know a lot, I don't like a lot of Derek Queen's game transitioning to the NBA. I can see it transitioning. I just don't know how well it'll fit, and I think it goes to where he gets drafted. But to have Malik, and again, I'm gonna send you a bill, Jeff, because you keep making me talk about Duke Blue Devils, and I hate this being a North Carolina guy here. But Malik is the potential is unfathomed, and I think he's not going to be there at 14. He's going to be a top 10 pick. You're talking about a guy who has a ceiling of a potential of a Dikembe Mutombo on the defensive side. Same thing with Rudy Gobert. I mean, he's a very good elite rim protector, something that a lot of teams in that top 10 are going to need. The Spurs could surprise and get him at 8. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at all, knowing they need some help around the rim with Victor there, rebounding, athleticism. I mean, he's only 18 years old, so he's going to continue to grow. Not a great free throw shooter. Obviously, his offensive skill set is going to just kind of barely going to be similar to what we saw to Mutombo, just around the basket, dunks here and there, but you want him for the defensive presence. So getting Malik at maybe 8, but if he's there at 14, you take him in a heartbeat. Yeah. You don't pass up a player like that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, those are our thoughts on who we think the Spurs should pick in our mock draft boards. We got to hear from you, though. What do you think the Spurs are going to do tonight in the draft lottery? If they stay at 8 and 14, as this projected to, what do you do with them? You keep them, you flip them, you trade? Let us know what you think. You let Rudy know on X at Sweep the League. Make sure to check out his show, Sweep the League, as well. You leave your comments at Locked On Spurs YouTube page. We'll read them in a future episode of Locked On Spurs. Rudy, we've been talking about Sweep quite a bit on this episode. Tell us about it. Are you still duping people into believing you're live or you're not live?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're still duping a lot of people that we're live. You can go to YouTube, and all you gotta do is search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. We're gonna be doing a lot of NBA mock drafts. We're getting 24/7 traction because you're getting 24/7 episodes, which again, Jeff said we dupe a lot of people, but it says we're live. We're not really live a lot of times. You'll know when we go live.
Yeah.
Best way to do it is hit that notification button, so that way you know when we're live and you're not getting, duped like Jeff and everybody else is. So
yeah,
that's the best way to do it, man.
I fell for it a couple times already. I'm thinking Rudy's live. I'm like, wait a minute, he's not live. I just saw this a few hours ago. What's going on here? But yeah, Rudy, as always, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. As I texted you and asked you to come on, man, you were like, this is my time of the year, man. You love draft, mock drafts, lottery draft. I mean, you just love this time. So again, another reason why you should go and check out Rudy on X as Sweep the League. Pick his brain. Let us know what you think. What does he tell you about the Spurs on the NBA draft lottery? So let us know ASAP. Everybody else, we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to us over at the YouTube page, Locked On Spurs, iTunes, Spotify, Ken5 Plus app, YouTube. You know where to go and do that ASAP. Hey, by the way, check out Locked On NBA Game Night. Every game, every night until the NBA champion is crowned. You get local analysis on a national scale. Find NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.